Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to ChriswithaC. Hope you're all doing well. Right, just no heads up videos today. As you can see on the table, we have got the Arrma Outcast. Outcast 4 SV2. I've absolutely adored this truck. It's been amazing. I put it through so much grief, honestly, and it just keeps coming back and back and back. But there are a few things starting to fade away and start looking a bit ugly and not too good. And we have actually got a little bit of a breakage now. When I ran this up in Panside a couple of weeks back, I had a little bit of an argument with a Outcast 8S, and we managed to snap, even though it doesn't look like it. Let me just turn the car over. So on this arm here, we've managed to snap the arm, basically, and what's happened is started to come away. So what I've decided, even though I've had a quick look at it now, what I've actually decided is I'm going to try and put the car back as it should be. Is it this arm? Hang on, let me just check. It's one of these arms. I think it's this one. Basically put the car back as it should do. This body is starting to look very, very, well, let's just say battered and bruised. So let's just show you quickly. So what I've actually got here, all right, is some replacement parts. We have big shout out to Turbo RC. Guys, you can hit him up on Facebook, you can hit him up on his website. Very, very helpful guy. Managed to get the parts out to me really quickly. Now, and usually these arms have actually snapped on this part here, and what's happened is basically the arm's just not holding itself in on the hinge pin, but he came to the aid, and I've got a full set of arms and a full set of a sway bar set there. So massive shout out to Hunter for actually hooking me up with these. I really do appreciate it. As I say, I will put a link in the description for him, guys. He's really helpful and very quick and very prompt to getting the parts out to you, reasonably priced as well. So obviously they're the replacement parts that are going to be going on. The other thing I do have for this truck is this bronze body. Now this came with the car, all right. It's a brand spanking new body, as you can see. No marks, not even been used. So the plan is, I have given that car a bit of grief. I'm actually going to use this body on the truck, and I do like this colour. I will kind of keeping it for a show pony, but yeah, my body started to deteriorate. But yeah, it's very, very pretty, very pretty indeed. I got to be fair, between this and the Creighton, I will say that this body for me is definitely the better one. I do like the Outcast body, that old kind of pickup truck look, really, really nice. And we've got a tasty little upgrade. Now, as you can see by here, guys, all right, big shout out to OKtays Bumper, or OKtays, or whichever way you want to pronounce it. Now, there's a slipper clutch upgrade you can do for these. Now, as you probably know, as I've mentioned before, the slipper clutch on the 4S cars do tend to be a little bit problematic from time to time. And now what I mean by this is sometimes they snap on the end here. Now, this is actually made out of T6 aluminum 7075, and this should actually give me a lot better pressure and mounting pressure for the slipper clutch. And it's very, very well made as well. So I have got some more upgrades to show you quickly. Now, I'm not going to kind of spoil it too much, but there is a new car coming to the channel. But I'm going to be using these parts on the new car. As you can see, we've got some outdrives basically towards the wheels. These are all, again, 7075 T6 aluminum. A motor mount. Now that should give you a clue, guys, if you're in the know when it comes to Arrma cars, basically what is coming. You've got this aluminum drive shaft, very nicely done, all powder coated by the looks on things, again 7075. And these drive cups, again, they mimic very much the standard drive cups that come with the car, but what I'm going to do is fit those. Now, these will actually go onto the new vehicle before I even use it, all right? The plan is on the new vehicle, as I normally do, I go through all the checks. But while I'm doing that, I'm actually going to fit all these upgrades to the car before we even use it. So, yeah, that's nice. Thank you very much, OKtays, or whichever way, I think it's Octay is pronounced. Yeah, it came all the way from Germany, guys. He got in contact, asked if I'd like to do some videos on the channel. Now, guys, if you're in the UK, he is actually looking for a stockist. So if there's any stockists watching this video at the moment, they are looking for a stockist for his parts in here in the UK. So definitely, if you want to get in contact with me and I can put you in contact with him, or speak to him directly, it's up to you. But they are very good quality parts, very well machined, and I can show you all these on my next video, but worth checking out. Okay, now we've got that out of the way, what I'll do is I'll just set up, get my tools ready, and we'll take the body off the car and go from there. I'll see you in a sec. Right, okay, so I've taken the wheels off the car. Basically, it's a lot easier for me to work on. What I'm going to do now is basically just remove the arm. And we're going to remove this one actually, might leave this one on, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to remove the arm, basically replace the arm. To do so, there's 2 screws at the front, and then flipping the car over, obviously I'm going to have to remove the bash bar. There's 1, 2, 3, and then there's another one just underneath here. Remove that 5mm hex driver or screwdriver. Basically just to remove those. What happens is then this section will come off. It'll allow me access then to the hinge pin. With the hinge pin out, then I can then remove the arm. We need to take the screw off here basically and remove another pin then through the C-hub here, and then obviously the pin will come out again. So the pin is actually by there. All right, in doing that, then the arm is released. I can then just rebolt the new arm in, and then what we'll do then is obviously put the roll bar back in. I probably will leave this one because it doesn't look damaged in any sort of way. We'll just replace the one that's broken. I can keep that the new one as a spare. And then we'll crack on with the rest of it. I'll see you in a second. I'll put you on a time lapse now, guys, while I'm working, okay? So as you can see, very easy to strip down actually, and this is part of the reason why I absolutely adore these trucks. Very easy to work on, not rocket science. You don't have to think about it too much. Now damage, I don't know whether the camera will pick that up, but see that split there? There is a split in the plastic, and what's happened is where it collided with the Outcast, the pressure of that wheel being torn. If you can imagine, you've got the wheel and all your assembly like this, and what's happened is that Outcast 8S thing collided with the wheel and then pushed it all back against the pin. So obviously your pin would come through like this, and that's just ripped it straight out of place. See, like so. All right, so yeah, replacement part can go on, that's not a problem. But again, like I said, very easy to work on these trucks, and it is a good time to actually look around your screws. Like I noticed one by here that was actually loose underneath the bash bar, so give me an opportunity to check all these screws going through the car. You can have a good idea then of each and every part as you're going along, so just go through your screws, go through everything, make sure everything is tightened up correctly and everything's working fine. So the arms, obviously I'm going to be replacing. They're here, as you can see. All right, some replacement arms there, and the one we need, let me just correctly now, is this one there, like so. All right, so I'll just take that out now. Okay, so there's my replacement arm. That's going to go on like so. All right, and in the process then we'll refit the sway bar at the same time. Now, I have seen some people mention about not using the sway bar. Me personally, I would like to fit it back in there. It came off the car, so therefore I wanted to go back on. It's personal preference. Some people think that obviously they don't need them. Me, I would like that little bit more stability on corners. I do use this for general bashing as well as stunts. So for me personally, I would obviously make sure that that part goes back on. So pause the video, I'm going to carry on working and we'll go from there, guys. I'll see you in a second. Right, okay, so as you can see, we've got the new arm fitted. Alright, so that's all on. And I've also fitted the sway bar. Alright, now you have got this little guide at the front that you need to remember that you place in. Alright, as you can see there. It's got two little screws, bit of plastic, just to hold it all down. I would recommend you putting this back on the vehicle. It actually holds your sway bar in the right place. Now, as you can see, the plastic is a little bit deformed. So I might actually just use a new one on there, which I have got again. So he does include these in the packaging. Let's have a quick look. So we just need to match that one up. I think that's the correct one, yeah. So I'm going to place some screws in here like so. And it goes just behind the bumper. Now it can be a little bit fiddly to get in there, but just take your time when placing it in. All right, as soon as you get one screw in, you should be all right. As I say, it is a little bit fiddly. Now, you could, if you wanted to, release the sway bar from the rear, but I actually like to do it this way, pure and simply because I know it's actually set in place properly. And then fingers crossed. Let's have a look. I just need my handy dandy torch on the back of this. Because yeah, black parts and plastic parts are a pain in the backside to put together. I've got to sort out some light in here, definitely, because I am struggling. I'll be honest with you, as I'm getting older, my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. So now we resorted to wearing glasses. Right, there we go. I can see you now. Okay. And that should be tightening down. Now, total repair cost to actually get this back working was only, what did I pay? I think it was £14 including the fittings. Now, for me, that's not the end of the world, I'll be honest with you. I can't actually get this screw in, it's a pain in the bum. There you go, there we got it. Got it. Then remember, screwing plastic into plastic, guys, don't over tighten. That noise you can hear is just thread going back in. There you go, that's one. And that's two. So that little piece of plastic just holds the sway bar in place. There, like so. Okay, so I'll just kind of show you. That little piece of plastic is what sits over the top of your sway bar, like so, and holds the sway bar between the bumper and also the front of the car. But yeah, all fitted, everything's back in. What I did do off camera is I've actually polished the hinge pins. Guys, if you'd like to see my maintenance when it comes to the hinge pins and everything, let me know in the comments. I can show you. All I tend to do is use a little bit of sandpaper on a drill, put the hinge pin in the drill like so, and then spin the drill up, sandpaper down there. You get a bit of metal polish then, and literally run it around just to keep the hinge pins nice and tidy. Now that actually can have quite a dramatic difference in how well your suspension actually works. As you can see, my suspension's lovely and free. I haven't got any issues with the way that's working there. Right, okay, now I'm not putting the rest of the screws in or the bash bar a second, because what I'm going to do now is actually do the slipper clutch on the rear. Now if I was to put all the screws back in, obviously as you can imagine, or the way these cars work is the screw there and this screw there and there. Now with a bash bar they come with longer screws, so it doesn't actually matter if you're using the standard chassis, not a chassis, basically without a bash bar, because these screws won't interfere. But your main ones you want to worry about while moving your motor mount is here. So I'm not going to put that back in just yet, because obviously I want to sort out the slipper clutch. But right, put you back on time lapse a second. Hope you're enjoying the video, and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the slipper out. Obviously this is the spur gear and the slipper assembly. Give me an opportunity to check it all over. I have actually done, as I say, some maintenance. This is the motor module here. As you see me just stripped that all down now. You don't need to change any of this, that's all ready to rock and roll. But we're going to be replacing it with this, obviously, which is the upgraded 7075 slipper assembly. So what we're going to do now, guys, is basically just take it all out of the box. As you can see, that's the machine in there. So we need to take the parts from this assembly and pop them onto here. I can't see it being any problems, but fingers crossed, we should be fine. Yeah, so let's crack on. I do believe it's a 2mm inside here. Let me just check. Yeah, it is. Just loosen off the screw that's on the inside. Okay, make sure you keep the pressure on the plates. And remember how this goes back together. So I'm going to line them up from right to left, or left to right, whichever way you want to do it. But as long as you're remembering where the parts are going back in, that's where you need to look at. Right, let me just take this part out here. Now, key to this, guys, and making it right, is making sure you're putting some Loctite back on the other end as well. Just put it in my hand a sec to hold it tight. It shouldn't be far off now, actually. There you go. There you go. Right, okay. So, there's the plate. I'm going to take that out. Right, make sure you keep... See, there's a little thrust bearing on the inside of there. You want to make sure you keep hold of that. And also the washer that's in there. Now there should actually be another washer in there somewhere. So what we can do, just get a smaller driver and just pop that through. So there you go, there's the other washer. Alright, so there should be washer, thrust washer with a bearing, and then washer again. All right, make sure that you've got those in the correct place. We keep that there like so. Right, we need the bearing off like that, and it gives you ample opportunity then to check that over. But look at the state on this, guys, and it is literally like plastic. They're not very tough at all. Now, again, like I say, I haven't had many issues myself, all right, but it is what it is. So there you go, that's the other piece that's going to be replacing it. Like so, as you can see, it's a lot better. What Arrma did, realised by the looks on things, is this aluminium around the outside isn't very tough, so they put this little brass washer there to stop it breaking. Now they have a tendency of these basically these castellated parts to snapping off. So just pop this bearing back on. I know that's fine because I've just checked it. So that needs to go on like so. Now slipper pads, as you can see, there's two of them put together. Where are we to? Yeah. So as you can see, it's a little bit worn. I'm going to wipe this down now with some parts cleaner, all right, and then put it back together. So I'm going to pause it 2 seconds, guys. So what I'm going to do to actually clean this slipper plate is just use a little bit of carbon intake cleaner, all right. So all I'm going to do is just spray it all over like so, and then just give it a wipe off. All right, now it won't take away any wear that's on there, but what it will actually do is clean up any debris that's on there. All right, because I don't have any more slipper pads here, I don't think anyway. So I will still reuse this. It doesn't look too bad at all, to be honest with you. As you can see, a little bit cleaner than what it was. I could actually flip it around and then obviously use it against this side if I wanted to. That's fine. And then I'm going to give this a bit of a clean as well. Right, sorry about that, guys. A bit of a problem with my battery in my GoPro. So what I'm going to do now is obviously clean the spur gear itself. Give it a bit of a wipe. And just basically get rid of any debris that's on there before I put it back together. There you go. Now make sure you're doing this in a well ventilated room if you're going to be using products like this as well. So we're going to place that back in like that. All right, so there you go, we've got that side sorted. Now next side then. So what we're going to do now is just take these slipper plates off like so. All right, and we're going to take them off all at the same time. So there is a bearing on the inside here. All right, now, so we go slipper pad, adapter, bearing. Okay, slipper pad, adapter, bearing. And then I believe it's slipper pad again. Is that right? Yeah. Slipper pad again, like so. And then that then goes onto the opposite side like that. So again, just take your time when you're putting it in. Okay, so that it should now look like that. Again, just give it a bit of a wipe. Make sure there's no debris. Okay, and now we're putting the other side of the slipper plate on. Now, there is a little castellated, sorry, not a castellated, there is on the other side, this little washer, as you can see it there, here. All right, now that needs to go back on. That's the key to success on the 4S and 3S cars. Sorry, on the 3S and 4S cars, if you're using a 4S system, that actually stops the end splaying out. And you also need this bearing off here, okay? So what I'm going to do here is actually place my screw back in. In fact, let's give that a bit of a clean as well. All right, just make sure there's no Loctite on there. Okay, so that's now nice and clean. Right, okay, so we got that bearing there. We can in fact leave that off a second. I'm going to concentrate. I want to get this off a sec. I'm wondering whether it'll actually go back over. Whoops, that's just slipped apart. There you go, it's better. I now want to make sure that this actually fits over that end there. So I'm going to try and get my bearing off. If not, I'm going to see if I can salvage another bearing, and obviously I want to get this off here. So it won't be long, it'll be 2 seconds now. Okay, so after a bit of research, it turns out that you don't actually need that little nut inside there. Well, now what I'm going to do is just quickly whip this apart, alright? I have got a new bearing to go on the other side as well. Alright, so new bearing there. I'm going to leave this one together because, to be honest with you, with this being 7075, it should actually be alright. So I don't think we'll have too much problems there. But I'm going to quickly whip this out a second, and then what I'm going to do is actually add some Loctite to the screw, and then we'll leave the Loctite actually set, but that's actually together now, as you can see. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly take this screw out. Like so. So actually fall out now, right, great. I have found another slipper plate here, so I'm just going to quickly inspect the slipper plates again, just to make sure I'm happy. I've got a spare one here. I don't know what sort of condition it's in, but if I can save a few quid here, I will. And get it back together again. Not looking great, I'll be honest with you. Never mind, we'll leave them as they are. Add a bit of Loctite to this screw now, okay? So just dip the end of the screw in the Loctite, as long as it's on the thread. As you can see, you don't need to go too bad. There you go, we got a bit of Loctite in there. I'm just going to add that into the assembly. Like that. And then tighten this up. I'll go so far with it, and then I'll stop and then hand tighten. Right, okay, so stop there. Get your standard screwdriver, 2mm. And just make sure I've got that inside there. There you go. There you go. And then that Loctite should be inside there quite nicely. Now I would suggest letting this set. You don't need to over tighten here. Alright, so fully tight, and then all I do is back it off just by a quarter. Alright, so it still will give a little bit of slip, but not a load. And that, my friends, is put back together. So bearing on this end, bearing on this end, like so. Let's move all this out of the way. So that is what you're actually looking at. Okay, very nice, very well machined. And bearing in mind, obviously you want your longer end then coming through, like so. And the good thing is because the parts are meant to fit on you, you don't actually have to change any of your meshing. So that can now go back together, like that. Here you go, guys. Alright. And then obviously the longer end coming out towards your slipper here, like so. Alright, so short end input goes into your differential, longer end goes in towards your drive shaft. So just going to put the screws back in now quickly. Now, as I say, best thing for you to do here is leave this set whether it be, now I'm going to try and leave mine set 24 hours before I even use it, possibly even 48, but you do want to let it set. There you go, there's another one in. Loctite is a compound. At the end of the day, you want that compound to bind to the metal and dry. There you go. Just check, obviously, your spur gears, they're moving. Everything's moving nicely there. And that, my friends, is your OKtays slipper assembly into your 4S, 3S Arrma. But yeah, really, really happy with that. Thank you, Okatys. I'm gonna move the camera now, guys, and then we'll reassemble the car and go from there. I'll see you in a second. Right, okay, so all back together. Front suspension now feels better again. Rear suspension, everything, front bearings have been checked over. Sway bars are back in. We've done the slipper assembly, as I mentioned, from Oktays. So big shout out to you, brother. Thank you very much for obviously hooking me up with that. Plenty more upgrades to do. And guys, the pièce de la resistance, she's getting a new body. There you go. What do you think? So yeah, very happy. The car's now refreshed and looking very, very nice. And also, I've checked it all over. All the upgrades are done. I want to thank each and every one of you, obviously, for watching the video as well. I really do appreciate you. If you want more information, guys, on the parts being used, and obviously Turbo RC for hooking me up with the spare parts, I will put a link in the description. Thank you to Oktays, thank you to Turbo for making this video possible. I really do appreciate it. And guys, big shout out to Lee from Custom RC Upgrades as well, because it's actually, I bought this truck from him, if you remember going back last summer. So I've had loads of fun with this truck. Nice to see she's living on. I've got a little bit of surprise on the channel, obviously, for people coming up this week. I think you're going to like it, especially if you like your trucks. I'm not going to go any further. Basically, there's a new truck coming to the channel, but she is ready to fight another battle, guys, and probably will fortify the body a little bit just to make it nice and strong, and obviously add some stickers to the car. But yeah, she's looking minty fresh again, so I'm very happy with this. Anyway, massive shout out to you all. Make sure you check the box for more videos. Until next time, guys, stay awesome.